The sun hung low over the plains of western Nebraska, painting the sky in soft golds and quiet lavenders. Elias Thompson stood beside his old mare Daisy, reins loose in his weathered hand. He had just ridden in from the north pasture where the fence needed mending again. 62 years had settled into his shoulders like gentle snow. His beard was more silver than brown now. His eyes still sharp but kinder than they used to be. In front of him stood a young woman. Barely 30, he guessed, wrapped only in a torn bedsheet stained with dried blood. Her dark hair fell wild across her face. Bruises bloomed along her arms and legs. She clutched the sheet tight to her chest, trembling in the evening chill. Elias had seen her stumbling along the dirt road a mile back. Barefoot. Lost. He called out once. She froze, then kept walking until he caught up on Daisy. He offered his canteen. She drank without a word. When he asked her name, she only shook her head. So he brought her home. Now they stood by the corral. The old log house behind them warm with lamplight. Smoke curled from the chimney carrying the scent of pine and coffee. Daisy nickered softly. Elias rested a hand on the mare's neck, feeling the familiar rhythm of her breathing. "Please," the young woman whispered. "Don't take the cloth off." Her voice was small, raw, like wind through dry grass. Elias looked at the sheet, saw the dark patches, understood they were not all her blood. He nodded once, slow, respectful. "I won't," he said. "You keep it on long as you need." He unbuckled his belt holster, set the revolver on the porch step. Hands open, palms up, a gesture his father taught him long ago, when a frightened colt needed trust. "My name is Elias," he said. "This is the double bar T. Been in my family since 1892. You're safe here." She studied his face, searching for the lie, found only the same quiet eyes that once watched his wife Ruth rock their babies to sleep. Ruth had been gone 12 years now. Cancer took her gentle as a sunset. Left the house too big. The nights too long. The young woman's knees buckled. Elias caught her elbow. Steady, like catching a falling sack of grain. He walked her to the porch. Sat her on the old cedar bench his grandfather carved. The one that still smelled of liniment and pipe tobacco. "I'll get you something clean to wear," he said. "Ruth's things are still in the cedar chest. She was small like you." He disappeared inside, returned with a soft flannel nightgown. Pale blue, faded from many washings. He laid it across her lap, turned his back, gave her privacy. Minutes passed. Daisy grazed the short grass by the gate. A meadowlark called from the cottonwood. The young woman stood, the sheet pulled at her feet. She slipped into the nightgown, buttoned it with shaking fingers. The hem brushed her shins. The sleeves hung past her wrists. She felt swallowed. Safe. Elias turned, saw the bruises more clearly now. A handprint on her throat. Crescent cuts on her forearm. His jaw tightened, not in anger, in sorrow. He had seen marks like these before. On his sister Clara, back in '78, before she left Nebraska forever. "Come inside," he said. "Supper's warm." He held the screen door. She stepped across the threshold. The kitchen smelled of beef stew and cornbread. A single place set at the oak table. He pulled out another chair, set a second bowl, poured coffee black the way his father drank it, added a spoon of sugar the way Ruth liked hers. They ate in silence. The clock on the wall ticked steady, like a heartbeat. Outside the wind moved through the cottonwoods, whispering old songs. When the bowls were empty, Elias pushed back his chair. "I'll make up the guest room," he said. "Clean sheets, extra quilt. You sleep as long as you need." She touched his sleeve. "Wait," she said. "I need to tell you." He sat again, folded his hands, waited. "My name is Sarah," she said. "Sarah Jane Miller. I was driving from Denver. My husband, she stopped, took a breath. "He hurt me. For the last time. I left in the night. Took nothing but the sheet off the motel bed. Walked until my feet bled. Didn't know where I was going." Elias nodded. "I know that road," he said. "It leads nowhere and everywhere. You're here now." He stood, went to the hallway closet, came back with a pair of wool socks. Thick, hand-knitted by Ruth the winter before she passed. He knelt, slipped them over Sarah's torn feet. One at a time, gentle as dressing a child. "These will keep the chill out," he said. Sarah watched his hands, calloused from decades of rope and reins. Yet careful. She thought of her father. Gone since she was 12. How he used to carry her piggyback through the wheat fields. Before the drinking started. Before everything broke. Tears came sudden. Hot. She didn't wipe them away. Elias handed her a handkerchief. White cotton. Initials ET embroidered in the corner. Ruth's stitching. Cry if you need, he said. Floorboards have heard worse. She did. Shoulders shaking. The sound small in the big kitchen. Elias sat across from her. Not touching. Just present. Like the old cottonwood outside. Roots deep. Branches wide. When the tears slowed, he spoke soft. My Ruth, she used to say. Kindness is the only thing that multiplies when you give it away. I didn't understand when we were young. Thought she meant cookies or spare change. Took me 50 years to see. She meant this. A chair. A bowl. A nightgown. A pair of socks. Sarah looked at the socks. Warm now. The wool soft against her skin. She flexed her toes. Felt the ache ease. I don't know how to thank you. She said. You already did. Elias replied. You trusted me enough to come inside. He showed her to the guest room. A small space under the eaves. Braided rug on the floor. Quilt of wedding ring pattern. Window facing the corral. Moonlight silver on the rails. Bathrooms down the hall. He said. Towels in the cupboard. Water's hot. Take your time. He left her. Closed the door soft. Sarah stood in the middle of the room. Touched the quilt. Smelled lavender from the sachets Ruth sewed. She opened the window a crack. Night air cool. Crickets singing. She bathed. Let the water run long. Washed away the blood. The fear. The shame. Wrapped herself in a towel. Slipped between the sheets. Slept without dreams. Morning came slow. Elias was up before dawn. Milked the 2 cows. Fed the chickens. Started coffee. Pancakes on the griddle. Bacon sizzling. He set the table for 2. Sarah appeared in the doorway. Hair combed. Ruth's robe tied around her. Feet still in the wool socks. Smells like my grandma's kitchen. She said. Elias smiled. First one in weeks. Sit. He said. Eat. They ate. Talked about small things. The way the light hits the barn at sunrise. How Daisy likes her ears scratched. The best way to mend a fence so it lasts. After breakfast, Elias handed her a pair of Ruth's jeans. A chambray shirt. Belt with a brass buckle shaped like a horseshoe. These should fit, he said. Boots by the door. Size 7 I reckon. Sarah dressed. The clothes hung loose but clean. She rolled the sleeves. Cinched the belt. Looked in the mirror by the door. Saw a woman she almost recognized. Elias hitched Daisy to the buckboard. Loaded a basket. Ham sandwiches. Apples. Thermos of coffee. Thought we'd check the north pasture. He said. You can ride or walk. No hurry. Sarah climbed up beside him. The wagon creaked. Daisy leaned into the traces. They rolled slow along the rutted track. Wind in the grass. Hawks overhead. Elias talked as they went. About the land. How his grandfather broke sod with oxen. How the Dust Bowl nearly took it all. How Ruth planted roses by the porch every spring. Even when the well ran low. Sarah listened. Shared pieces of her own story. Growing up in Kansas. Community college. Marrying too young. The slow erosion of hope. Elias didn't offer advice. Just nodded. Let the words settle. At the pasture. They mended fence together. Elias showed her how to twist the wire. How to set the post plumb. Their hands brushed once. No spark. Just the comfort of shared work. Sun climbed. Sweat cooled in the breeze. Sarah laughed when a grasshopper landed on her hat. First laugh in months. On the way back, Elias stopped at the family cemetery. Small iron fence. 4 headstones. He knelt by Ruth's. Brushed dust from the engraving. Ruth Marie Thompson. Beloved wife, mother, friend. 1938-2013. Sarah read the words. Touched the stone. Cool. Solid. She taught Sunday school. Elias said. Never raised her voice. Could calm a storm with a look. Miss her every day. Sarah thought of her own mother. Still in Kansas. Phone calls growing shorter. She made a promise to call when she could. Back at the house. Elias fried chicken. Mashed potatoes. Green beans from the garden. They ate on the porch. Watched the stars come out. One by one. Sarah spoke of leaving. Needing to find work. A new start. Elias listened. Then went inside. Came back with an envelope. Inside was $500. Crisp bills. And a note in Ruth's handwriting. Saved for a rainy day. Looks like rain. Sarah tried to refuse. Elias closed her fingers over it. Pay it forward, he said. When you can. Days turned to a week. Sarah helped with chores. Learned to milk. Collected eggs. Baked cornbread that almost matched Ruth's. Her bruises faded to yellow. Then gone. She slept through the night. Woke without fear. One evening, Elias found her in the barn. Brushing Daisy. Talking soft. The mare's eyes half closed in bliss. You've got the touch, he said. Sarah smiled. She reminds me of a horse I had when I was 10. Brownie. Sold him when Dad lost the farm. Elias leaned on the stall door. Land's still here, he said. Could use another pair of hands. Pays not much. Room's yours. No rent. Stay as long as you like. Sarah looked at the rafters. Swallows nesting in the corners. Smelled hay and leather and horse. I'd like that, she said. Seasons turned. Sarah planted roses by the porch. Red ones. Ruth's favorite. She called her mother. Talked for an hour. Made plans to visit. Elias taught her to drive the old Ford truck. Showed her the back roads. Where the sandhill cranes gathered in spring. They fished the Platte River. Caught nothing but memories. Winter came early. Snow soft on the fields. They strung lights on the porch. Baked fruitcake. Drank cocoa by the fire. Sarah read aloud from Ruth's copy of Little Women. Elias whittled a horse from cedar. Gave it to her on Christmas morning. Spring again. Calves born slick and wobbly. Sarah named one Daisy June. Elias laughed until his eyes watered. One warm evening, they sat on the porch swing. Chains creaking gentle. Fireflies blinking in the dusk. Sarah wore Ruth's blue sweater. Soft with age. Elias held a glass of iced tea. Condensation cool on his fingers. Remember that first night, Sarah said, when you found me on the road. Elias nodded. Clear as yesterday. I thought kindness was dead. She said you proved it just sleeps sometimes. Elias looked at the stars, thought of Ruth, smiled. It's like wheat, he said, lies dormant under snow, pushed through come spring if the ground's tended. Sarah leaned her head on his shoulder. Not romance, family. The swing moved, slow night wrapped them gentle, two souls mended by time, by quiet acts, by the simple grace of not taking the cloth off before someone was ready. Years later, travelers on the dirt road would see the double-barred tea roses blooming fierce, a young woman waving from the corral, an old man beside her, hat tipped back, smile easy. They'd hear laughter carried on the wind, see the porch light left on. No, without asking, this was a place where kindness lived, multiplied, given away freely, and somewhere a frightened soul walking barefoot would remember the story, find the courage to knock because someone once said please don't take the cloth off, and everything changed.